Let's see here. That's all done. That's all done and all that jazz. Got all that packed. Oh, hey guys, it's Mr. Fury here. Yeah, sorry that I wasn't doing much lately. I've been doing basically, well, Black Friday stuff. So it's kind of hard to get back to tank reviews when I got, Black Friday, all this stuff going on. It's absolutely hard to get back to World Tanks. I know that there's the Polish tanks coming out shortly, that review thing. Polish premium tanks came out, all the other tanks. But today, I'm going to talk about a tank that you're going to see in a minute that you earn for free for a friend request that I get a lot up the ass asking me if it's worth it or not, and they want to know my opinion. So this is my video for you. Again, guys, I apologize that it's been a while now that I did a video or didn't do a video, and I'm going to try my best. It's just the holidays, man. It's very hard. But first things first, let's get into this tank thing. Alright guys, before I begin this review, you're probably wondering why the hell were you playing the Walking Dead theme for this tank review? Well, if you look at the officer, what does that remind you of who it is? I'll give you a hint. It begins with an R. He was a cop. He was from the very beginning up until the whole bridge point where he says, "I found them," which was a sad moment. And if you can guess it now, or if you can guess it right off the bat, it's Rick. It's goddamn Rick. There's no doubt about it. It looks exactly like him almost. I don't know if Wargaming did this intentionally for an officer for the Absolution, but it's kind of funny seeing him in this. Look at him. He looks almost close as a spitting image of him, which is really nice. But I just wanted to make that clear for people that are like, wait, why are you playing the Walking Dead theme for the beginning? That's why. Alright, let's get on with the review. Yes, my friends, the Absolution. Is it absolutely good? Is it absolutely bad? Let us find out. But first things first, let's talk about its armor and the capabilities of it. Now, the armor is very interesting because of how much space armor there is. I mean, granted, if you tilt the tank sideways like this, the front armor shows that it has, 21mm gauge, 75mm gauge as the main frontal part. And I know the blue thing behind it is not exactly space armor inside it. Like, there's like, oh, is it like 51 and 75 with it? No, it's It's only that much. That's only showing the side. But here's the interesting part. If you look at the main front of the plate, if I could zoom it in, can you see that little dip right there? It says hit points, and you see that little opening? You know, on the very right corner that it says like hit points? Yeah, there's an opening there. So that means it's even more stronger than armor piercing. And to top it all that, you got the side skirt armor, which is beautifully like armored. Like you got like 21 millimeters plus 51 millimeters of these little bars across it. Not to mention the head armor is basically 121. Because the reason why I add all that in total, it's 100 millimeters, yes, but the freaking bars around the head is 50 more. So it is really insane to pen this. However, though, the commander's hatch sits out like a sore thumb. Thankfully, though, it's rounded. So at least you could do something with blockage against some weaker armor piercings, but don't let it hit directly head. Alright, so let's talk about its gun packages real quick before we take it into proving grounds to show you the rest what it could do. Obviously, it's got a tier 6 head, tier 7 gun. It's the 75-55 kilometer gun. Now, if you don't know what that is the same gun on the VK36, pretty much second upgrade. Now, if you don't know what that looks like, I'll show you real quick. Let me just pull up the tank. Yeah, it's this tank. Now, the package that I'm talking about is this one right here. This is the gun you basically use. So if anyone who has grinded this tank and got the second upgrade and know this tank pretty well, then you will know it's exactly flawed. Alright guys, now let's take it to proving grounds to show you everything else about it. Alright guys, here we are. We're in a standard proving ground match. Now as you can see how quickly the reloading was on this for a good crew and all the equipment pieces. You're looking at a 3.54 reload. That's the lowest you can go without putting the, whatever consumable you wish to put in it, because since mercenaries can use like chocolates or anything like that, it's actually decent. The speed on this is like what you expect. It goes nearly almost 40, almost like 45 and stuff like that. So it's got good speed for its medium kind of heavy. And yes, that's right, I say medium kind of heavy because this tank's like a medium tank, and we'll discuss more reason why when we get into the actual battle thing. But I'm going to show you how much damage it does as soon as we get to the top. Oh god, he's retreating. Alright, climbing up a hill, it goes 25, so not bad. I mean, granted this officer I'm using is basically, I don't have off-road driving, so having all this is not that bad. And there you go, firing one shot, 135, then 126, then ram him. And then with that delicious space armor, it makes it really hard for armor piercing to pen you, especially at long distance. And then you keep firing, firing. Now the turning part on this really is hard, but then again, it doesn't have clutch braking as an officer yet, but look how turned it is on the move. Not that great. And then turning it sitting still, ooh, yeah, that will barely keep up with a light tank. But the head rotation seems okay, actually. I mean, it keeps up with most of these tanks. Let's see, let's try to, alright, let's try to get a lock on this guy. See, like the head turret is not that bad for this type of speed on the tank, so you'll be able to keep up with some tanks. But, yeah, it's just basically like a heavy version of a Panther. So we're going to kill this last guy real quick, and then we'll go back to the garage. Well, actually, not yet, because see, like how far you can detect things from your view range. You can pretty much see up to like pretty much 3 grids over, which means this tank is not good at spotting things easily. So you may want to have people help you spot shit. And your concealment is obviously the white dots is really bad. Like concealment wise, it doesn't seem like it can hide a lot of shit when it fires, so keep that in mind if you're trying to hide with this. Alright, I think I just talked about mostly the basics, the reloading and all that. Alright, let's head back to the garage so we can do our first battle, and let's see if this baby can do in combat. Alright guys, welcome back from Proving Grounds to show you a little bit about it. Now, The other thing I'm going to talk about is this price of bullets, and this is going to be a huge problem I'm going to talk about at the end of all this. Okay, first of all, armor piercing. Well, first of all, let's talk about the gun. Let's talk about the gun first. The gun can pen up to 157 with its normal armor piercings to 221 for its APCR. Which you would think, okay, that's decent, but look at the damage, 135. And you're probably thinking, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is how expensive these bullets are. Now, the first normal bullets that, damages from 135 to 167 or well, it's actually 169, but I've seen it done 173, so it can do more than that high roll, what it's saying. But the penetration is 118 is the lowest it can do, and the highest is only 196, which is not bad for a tier 6. I mean, that could pen through a lot of 6s. However, though, it does go into other high tiers. Like, for example, if you have to face a good tank, APCR is the same thing, but look how much the cost comparison. The regular armor piercing is 186 a shot, which for something that does low damage, that's pretty good. But 3,200 a shot? That is just bad. Really bad. And we're going to talk about the reason why it's bad when we go right into battle. So let's get started. Alright guys, here's the 7th battle I've played in this tank. Now, I get it, like, I usually like to show my first off to show with it, but it was just beyond bad. And I'm going to tell you why I had to do this like the 7th time to just show this video. It's because one thing for certain at this tank, you can obviously tell right off the bat, it is just basically the version of the Panzer V M10 with the Tiger's head armor and the gun of the VK36 second upgrade gun. Now, the problem is with this tank, it still plays up to a tier 8s. And I ask, why? Why Wargaming is this tank playing in tier 7? I mean, not tier 7s. I mean, that's another good question too, but why the fuck is this tank playing in 8s? This gun can only do 137 a damage shot with APCR. That thing doesn't cost cheap, So why the fuck is it cost that much money? You're going against tier 8s, and the gun's not that great at penning 8s. You need APCR, but you know how expensive that is. And it's just... Okay. Basically, let me tell you how to play this tank. Obviously, like, you would think with the armor and stuff you play aggressive, right? Wrong. You are dead wrong, and if you have this tank and you try to do that, that is completely wrong how do you play it. Now, don't get me wrong. If you play it and you do good and do it that tactic, fine. But how I play it, and the way how it works, is to use the basically long range at the enemy. Because the reason why is because that space armor is great at distance, making it more harder to hit. Now see that Hellcat over there? He's fully upgraded. He's about to shoot me in a few minutes. As soon as I get detected, I pull back and see where he hits. Because I know he fires. Hang on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I know the Hellcat's gonna fire. Come on. I know he's going to fire because I did bounce him. I just don't remember when. Alright, maybe I did bounce something, but I must have missed it. But basically, this tank is better at long-range blocking shit, even to tier 7s, because of that amount of space armor and the fact that bullets, when it travels far, it does less penetration, especially at long range. I mean, you don't want to be like a tank that's going to be like up at close range and get the maximum penetration. No, you don't want that. Now, they're asking me for help, and I'm staying in the back. There's the Hellcat, and it didn't pen. For something that's literally like a Hellcat fully upgraded can easily pen through Tigers, but staying at long range made it really useful to block shit. And this is how you play it. You don't want to go aggressive. You don't want to go frontline assault because it's a nightmare. Now, for my personal opinion for earning this tank and getting it, my personal thing on it, way too much points for it. Now, I get it when you, here's where I charge attack, and you see the problem there? I get penned by even fucking from a Sherman attacking head on. Now that second time he hit the middle plate, so it didn't pen me. But despite the fact that, like, this tank costs nearly 1,000 points. Now think about it, 1,000 points for this tier 6. Granted, it could be a great tank for beginners, great tank for this, but if you're not like a flanker, then you are going to be screwed out of proportion because of that. And this guy tracked me, and I'm like, shit. And I'm like, thank you, Fury, that saved me. Even though that's my name, but which is funny. It's like Fury saved Fury. Thanks. Anyway, back to what I was saying. For 1,000 points for this tier 6 mercenary tank, I could see it being really good for people, but to me, it's just too much points for a tier 6. Too much work. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd like people earning their tanks, but there's a difference between earning them in balance and earning them in, like, you know, insanely bullshit. Like, you remember the Fatherland, guys? The Fatherland one where you had to earn medal points and then you have to, like, get so many wins and it's randomly dropped? Oh, that was a bitch. Or win so many games in a row and stuff like that. That's not how it works. Now, the best way to also play this tank is with friends, obviously. Obviously, I had nobody playing with me this night when I was playing this game, but basically, I'm just trying to keep it alive and stuff. And the problem with these tanks is just people say, like, the reason why it plays in tier 8s is because you're supposed to help one another. Helping another one another doesn't work anymore, guys. Rarely do you ever see a tank help you out. It's not, there's no helping each other in this game. So having a tank that only does 130, plays in tier 8s with a gun that you have to load APCR to pen, it's fucking monotonous. Now, in this game, yes, I can load my standard rounds and make a shit ton of damage and money. I got like 14 pens, 2 criticals, and 1 kill right now, and 2 assists. But still, it makes it bad. Now, what I'm doing is, like, my sixth sense is going off, and I see that Hellcat, and boom, dead. Like, I did not want it to charge out in the open with the Hellcat looking at me. No, I'm smarter than that. That's the reason why it took me so long to make this video, is because I wanted at least an officer that had, you know, sixth sense. So that way I can just know when an enemy's nearby, or let alone that fucking, if I get detected or still detected after killing someone, I don't want to be going out in the open with my pants down and getting penned. So, yeah. So I'm penning this Jackson, and you're going to see another reason why you don't want to charge up. Now, at long range, I can bounce a Jackson, no problem, because it's usually good. But watch when I get close to it. See, like, that's the frontal space armor. I'm going to show you real quick on this side. I'll kill it, but watch this. See? Pen right under the underbelly. Now, I know the underbelly does not have space armor that much, but my point is exactly, like, close range with this tank is not good. And my engine's broken, so fuck me, right? It's like now this is like a nightmare to this tank. This tank that's designed to flank and maneuver and counterbalance is like now going like 15. Ugh. Oh yeah, I forgot. What am I aiming at here? Oh yeah, the E2. The E2 that's sitting in the corner, but I can't shoot it because of that medium tank over there. Try to fire at him, but that he's on a slight edge, and I thought I could pen it, but obviously I'm wasting shots, so I just cease fire after the second one. But honestly, like, despite of all I said, it's still a great tank for free. It's not anything broken. I mean, yeah, at long range it's hard to pen it, but it doesn't feel too broken, because it feels like it can be balanced out in a way that people can enjoy it, and not a tank that needs a major nerf. I mean, granted, yes, the space armor is going to piss everybody off, but there's always going to be something on a tank that's going to always piss people off. But for having it in a tier 8 game, I could see people getting rid of this tank in a heartbeat, because, let's be honest, on consoles, matching making is broken beyond repair. Like, whatever tank you pick, you got to be guaranteed you're going to be facing 2 tiers higher up and 1 tiers higher up all the fucking time. Rarely will you ever get in your own game unless it's a specific key moment where they're doing it. But still, it's not a bad tank for a free thing. Now, the game's about to wrap up now. As you can see, I got 2 kills, 17 pens, 5 criticals, and 5 assists. But it's going to be 1 more pen after this, because that medium tank is trying to rush towards the base. And basically, I'm locking into him, trying to wait for him, because I know he's going to come around that corner right over there. but I won't be able to make it. Now, the one thing I'm curious about is there's another medium tank, and oh, he was right there. Okay. Not trying to interrupt the game thing. Sorry, guys. It was like, literally, we camped the base, and I was like, where the fuck is that other medium tank? And then I realized they could have easily camped the base. Why didn't they go to our base and camp? There was only one guy on the base. They could have been another one, but oh well. We won. So, despite the fact that All Night Flaw says, it's still not a bad tank. It's just not what people expect to do. When you do that 1,000 points, there's so many people saying like they want to sell it just to get a garage slot, which is okay. It's their freedom. But honestly, for the tank itself, it's to me like iffy. But we'll go back to the garage for the final verdict. Actually, let's show the... Sorry, guys. Let's actually show the award first. I'm not thinking straight tonight. But let's show the rewards. Okay, guys. Here we are with the reward. And you can see right now, we got a lot of credits for that. I mean, it's not like a lot where most of my sixes make, but it's a pretty good amount. I mean, oh, and I forgot to tell you, once you get to the tank, you get the Absolution ×2 XP boost, which is going to happen until the end of the event. So if you got it early, you can actually get your mercenary crew a lot faster with it. But despite that only thing, that's pretty much what it does, guys. What you just saw in that battle was the best way to how to play that tank in high tiers and in its own tier, actually. I mean, granted, if there's not many threatening, you could probably go aggressive with it. But again, not really anything else. So I got a steel wall with it, which is insanely amount of good because usually 9 times out of 10, this tank never gets a steel wall because of how many people charges up to the front lines and get obliterated because the more closer you get, the more armor piercing and stuff like that can pen right through you more easily. So staying in the back is more better than going to the front lines. And you can prove it right there in the bottom to prove my answer. That's 1,545 damage blocked. That's a pretty good chunk of like blockage right there. With the damage of 2,373 with the assistance of 449. Destroyed 2 tanks, but the credits we earn is obviously 63,576 with premium. Without it, it would be 38,055. And XP, there's 5,000 because of the times boosting, and I can't really describe it being that much XP boost because of the dishing out damage. I'm trying to do some grinding with some other things. That's why I was like trying to work on my officer more by getting XP. So I don't know how much physically XP it makes, but it makes an okay amount. It doesn't make like too much, but it makes okay. And where am I on the top leader? I'm on the top leaderboard. I pretty much did more damage than the entire team. I mean, got pretty much 2,000, 1,000 more than the team. And there you go, guys. And let's go back to the garage for the final verdict. So yeah, guys, my final verdict, even though it has Rick as the officer, and I'm thinking about changing his name after when I'm done reviewing this, it's like literally this tank. Okay, let's recap before I give it a final verdict, because a lot of people are going to be really questioning when I'm going to say this. Remember, it's got the VK-36 seconds upgrade gun, great space armor for long range, not really good at close range though, so keep in mind of that. And I get it, it's free, but the 1,000 points makes it really impossible for people who don't play a lot of times during the day. Like, if you're an average person that doesn't play video games that much, this is going to be a problem for you to get Absolution for free. However, out of all this, the price of bullets, I have to give it, no joke, a 6.7 out of 10. I know everybody's going to be saying in the comments, but it's a Panther with space armor. It makes a lot of money. Panthers are good. Panthers are a thing. Yes, but think about what you're saying, guys. This tank plays into a tier 8 game. Tier 8s. So even the 116 out of that 156, you would probably think you could pen the side of an 8, but most of the times you have to face it head on. And the amount of damage you do is not a lot of damage. You do 138. Now I know a lot of you are saying right now, well, the whole point of a Panther is to piss it off. It's not meant to kill Fury, so why would you do that? Well, here's the problem. How are you going to stand against a defender? How are you supposed to stand against a KB4 Kovisky or a Lion. All these tanks that have really good armaments to them, how do you expect to pen them with that armor piercing? You can't. So you had to use the APCR. So you would think, okay, but the APCR can pen okay at these guys for a little bit. I just have to physically aim. But that's the problem. You're doing 3,000 and almost 200 of silver a shot. Which means if you're doing 130 damage every time you shoot, that money is going to go shit down the toilet and you're going to end up with negatives. And the whole point of a premium tank is to make money, right? Not to make fucking bankruptcy. Now you probably think, well, it plays in the 7s. You can fight, like, you can play against 7s pretty okay with the armor piercing. You just got to be really good with it. I get it. That's for any tank. Any tank can be really good in its tier if it knows what it's doing. However, on consoles, it's not the case. You gotta think, maps are small. There's only a couple of maps that are big, but maps are small. So the most of the times, the tanks you don't want to face right off the bat, you're going to see them right off the bat. And that's why I have to give it a 6.7 out of 10. Despite the fact that is, it's a great moneymaker for Panther players to flank and stuff and be sniping with it. It's not good against higher tiers with a lot of health pool. Now, if you could pen them with your normal armor piercing, great. But when you're in 8s, when you got all these tanks like Nomad and all these that can easily kill you and you can only do it 130, you're going to find this tank immediately going down the toilet. And for the officer, I have to say, if it is Rick, as a matter of fact, I'm going to prove it right now. I'm going to change it right now. Now, usually I never change an officer's name, but you know what? I like The Walking Dead. I really do. I stopped watching it for a long time because I'm usually busy doing work and stuff, but I really want to get back into it. But after hearing Rick's death and actually saw it on YouTube, and yes, I cheated a little bit to see that. I don't know what happened there, but I'd rather watch the whole series to know what happened. I'm going to commend naming this officer that the rightfully name he deserves. And if Wargaming really meant this guy to be actually Rick, but they couldn't take the ideal name, I'll give it a 10 out of 10 if it is Rick. But literally, last name? Ooh. I forgot Rick's last name though. Well, I got so many crew customization for free, so I'm just gonna leave it as probably, like, what did he die in the season? I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it as... trying to think. Maybe a dash. Oh, there we go. Rick. And there we go. So there you go. There's Rick. The Walking Dead Rick. God bless his soul and rest in peace, Rick. He was a damn good actor, too. Alright guys, with all that aside, thank you all so much for watching, and please enjoy the other videos I've done in the past. If you have seen them, thank you for your support, but in all, I'm just glad you guys watched this through. It's good to go back to World of Tank reviews again after a huge amount of time of doing Black Friday things and stuff like that, which reminds me. And the thing I find funny, like, I remember there were specific tanks that came out on Friday. Something special about these tanks that was like on a specific day on the holidays on Friday. They were painted different and they performed different. But what the fuck were they?